JP mentioned it early when they asked him what his favorite part of being in Washington was. He said being able to work with his dad and some other coaches. The worst part, everything else.
Yeah.
Here's Kyle Shanahan.
Being able to work with my dad and be around some other good coaches.
What was the worst part?
Everything else. I liked a lot of the players. Some good people.
And by the way,
Man.
I mean, people know this, that he learned at the hand of his father, obviously, and his father is a master at getting up at the mic and talking, but not giving you any sort of information, just talking, to fulfill
Well, that's what Bruce Allen does.
his obligations. So for him to go out of his way to basically say working for the Redskins was a terrible part of my career, it's saying a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he harbors a lot of resentment, obviously, from his time here
Now, I
at
will
DC.
say this. He says he's moved on with his life.
Yeah.
His family has too. He's been with like 3 other teams since then. So he says, I think it's pretty easy to not make it personal. The guys who get personal with it don't play in the game. It's not an issue. We've got our team coming to play their team, and we're looking forward to that.
But don't think he doesn't have a chubber to lay it into the Redskins. Gas pedal. If they're up like 31-3 or whatever. Now I'm not saying it's going to get that out of hand.
Could.
But if they're blowing out the Redskins, I would expect them to keep pouring it on.
They're like a 10-point favorite, and if you look at things, I always get a kick out of the matchup predictor on ESPN. And I don't know how accurate it is, but it's got if they played 1,000 times or whatever, the Niners winning 78% of the time.
Right. And you asked earlier what their yards allowed per rush against is. It's 4.1 yards per carry.
So
that's not great.
It's not great, exactly. That was kind of my theory.
Yeah.
It's not amazing, but they do pound the ball on their end.
They do.
They're averaging 180 yards a game, just 179.8. And I was asking Cake, how the hell they do it? I'm not a fantasy guy. I don't pay attention to them. Cake said they got a three-headed monster.
3 really good backs. They've got Coleman, who just came back, I think, last week from the high ankle sprain. They got Breida, who ripped off like an 80-yarder and scored a receiving touchdown last week.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got Raheem Mostert. I mean, all those guys, get touches. You're not wearing one down one dude.
How does Jeff Wilson Jr. have 4 touchdowns?
Well, he's the goal line hammer.
Yeah.
Like, they bring him in if he's even active. I think
they've got a 4-headed monster.
But with Coleman coming back, I know sometimes he's been inactive.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that guy's been productive.
Yeah. They commit to the run. They do the zone blocking scheme, which he learned from his pops, which we saw here at the Redskins.
And then when you start
Shanahan
playing,
was running the show.
Then you start playing the run, and George Kittle's going to crush you.
That's their tight end.
Yeah.
They have an amazing record when Jimmy G starts, and I don't think Garoppolo's having a great year statistically.
He's got a quarterback rating of 95, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Those are almost Case Keenum-like numbers.
It's pretty pedestrian.
But when you're churning 180 yards on the ground, I mean, you don't need your quarterback to throw for 300 yards per game.
Right.
I don't know if he's played a full season yet in terms of like 16 games. It's coming close to that, but he's something like 12-2 as a starter.
Now, I know AP was butt-sized. He got over 100 yards. He was a featured part of the offense.
Signed back this week?
Maybe.
They signed a fullback.
He could be. I know that Craig Hoffman, though, said he went through the tape. I saw this tweet. And he said he left a lot out there. That when AP actually watches the tape, he's going to be pissed off.
Yeah, so what happens is I do post game on NBC Sports Washington, and there's always a period of time where I can't watch the game. I got to listen to it on the radio because I'm driving from Glory Days Grill. This week it's from Centerville. They drive to Bethesda from Centerville. When I was listening on the radio, Cooley, who is the color analyst on the radio call, was saying the same thing. That sometimes AP doesn't hit whatever the hole is supposed to be by design, that he's not hitting that. Now, he had a good game, nevertheless, but maybe he could have
left a lot out there. Yeah. So, anyway, Redskins big-time underdogs this week. It'll be kind of interesting to see what happens there, especially with the Kyle Shanahan factor. Alex Smith is kind of in the news this week. Our buddy Tom Lavera from the Washington Times, I think, heard him speaking. He was at a sports medicine event in Fairfax, and he acknowledged that he's had 17 surgeries.
Wow, that's a lot.
Since his injury on his leg.
Scary.
And I have to tell you, we've kind of heard that number, but we could never confirm it, so we never went on the air. But that is not a surprising number to some people that have been paying attention to this. That's why I don't think there's a chance he ever plays again. I hope he does, and I hope he does it successfully, but it's pretty hard to come back from that. I don't even know. You've had 17 surgeries on your broken leg. You've almost lost it. Do you really want it to risk, another helmet to the leg? Or, getting stuck in the carpet and snapping in half? You know how vulnerable and weak that thing must be?
I think he's walking okay.
Yeah, but I don't see any
I wouldn't say the carpet's going to take him down. Now, a football
Well, it takes anybody
helmet,
down. It takes anybody down, just like your knee. Just grab your cleat. The turf monster. I just don't know if I would want to subject my leg to that.
Well, he's not going to. He's never going to play NFL football ever again.
Well, he's still trying to.
I'm sure he's trying to, but I'm guessing it, after all the trying, the doctors are going to say, you really want to risk this?
That's what I would think.
Yeah,
Even if he could sprint, even if he get to the point where he could sprint.
Right.
I just don't know if you'd want to subject your leg to it. But if he wants to do it,
I think it's less likely to happen, but if it's healed, all those 17 surgeries, they had issues with infection and all of those things. If it's
that's the
healed
reason, by the way.
And is back to 100%.
This is all because of the infection. That's
right.
what this was all about. I don't think he's
structurally fine.
I don't think he has the muscle down there to protect.
Well, that's going to take a while to build back up.
I don't know. I think it was a real disaster.
Believe me, I know. I'm 2 years after an ACL, and my right calf looks tiny. Just has not responded.
Yeah, imagine what his.
And my hamstring's weird because they took my hamstring out.
Now, Trent Williams is in the news again, of course, shocker. Now, about nothing that he did, but it's interesting. John Dorsey, the GM of the Cleveland Browns, acknowledged that he's had discussions with the Redskins. I'm assuming John called them about Trent's availability, and they either flat out said they're not interested or they gave him an outrageous offer that indicates they're not interested in making a move.
He said it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
So they're willing to trade for Trent Williams. The Redskins right now are refusing to listen to offers.
It's just a battle of wills, and Bruce doesn't want to give in. It's as simple as that. He doesn't want to reward Trent by trading. He wants him to lose whatever the amount he's due this year. What is it, $13, $14 million?
Something around there,
He wants him to lose that, and then I think he'll trade him in the offseason. It's a really sort of vindictive thing, I think, by Bruce, and I think it hurts the franchise.
Sounds like a very Brucey type move.
But that's exactly what I think you're going to see here.
Right.
There are some rumors that they were interested in offering David Njoku, who he seems to have the body and the ability to be a big-time player in this league if he can stay healthy, and maybe even a future first-round pick. Now, that'd be quite a haul.
That could be tantalizing. I mean, you upgrade at tight end, which is clearly a spot that needs it here with the Redskins, and you throw in a first-round pick. I think you have to seriously consider that.
Now,
deal.
I don't know if they highlighted this on the broadcast. I'm assuming they didn't, but a buddy of mine who was at the game in Miami, yes, there are Redskins fans that traveled for whatever reason. And
at least you're in Miami.
They were either in Miami already and they went to the game, or they went in the offseason say, hey, I want to go to a road game. I'll go to Miami.
I think tickets were going for as low as like $12 or $13.
Yeah, so why not go?